Welcome back to Halftime on the Hudson. And yes, we are 4 weeks away from the mock draft, our big show. I'm Nick Chiarito, first time on, I think, this semester. Joined in studio with JJ Garcia, Dave Troeger. And if for some reason you are watching this instead of opening day, get a life. Yankees versus Giants right now. They are in the bottom of the fourth. The Yankees leading 5-0. And for baseball fans, you can't overreact over the first game, even though I've kind of been saying the Yankees are going to win the World Series after the first 4 innings of opening night. But every team is still alive after game one, no matter the outcome. And there are a lot of contenders that people envision. You got the Blue Jays. They were 1 game away last year. They added Dylan Cease. The Yankees, a quiet offseason. I know Brian Cashman's mindset was, Garrett Cole is our addition. And, you know, for some reason, Ryan Weathers is like a dark horse Cy Young candidate. I don't know about that. Mariners running it back for the most part. Eugenio Suarez replaced with Brendan Donovan, still elite pitching and hitting all around. And on the NL side of things, the Cubs bringing in Alex Bregman, trying to replace that Kyle Tucker loss, who went to the Dodgers, who are the clear-cut favorites. JJ, who do you think is going to be in the mix come October?
I think you kind of mentioned a lot of them. Obviously, Blue Jays, they're great. They brought back basically all of their pieces besides Bo Bichette, but they did also lose Bassett as well. But they really didn't lose too much. They still have Clement, they still have Vlad, they have Springer, they have Gausman, they still have all of these pieces. Same with the Yankees. Everyone's kind of overreacting on the Yankees, saying they didn't do anything in the offseason. They were a 94-win team last year, and they were tied with the Blue Jays. They lost the tiebreaker, but this is a great baseball team. They had a almost positive 140 run differential last year.
164.
Exactly, that's insane. But there is another team in the AL East that I feel like I have to cover. I'm a Yankees fan, but it's the Boston Red Sox. This is a great team. They brought in Ranger Suarez, Wilson Contreras, Sonny Gray. They did lose Bregman, but Roman Anthony, he looked great in the World Baseball Classic. I think the Red Sox are going to take a huge leap. They might even be a 90-win team this year.
I mean, Dave, do you have any surprise teams or players you think could be making a push in October?
Well, this first one, I don't think is that much of a surprise. I think the Royals really underperformed last year.
I agree.
A lot of people are forgetting this was a divisional squad just 2 years ago. Carter Jensen could be a spark for this team, and also a lot of young talent in the bullpen, which was a big weakness for them last year.
I think Cole Reagan's a bounce-back year.
Isiah.
Bobby Witt, he is the best shortstop in the game, whether or not I think he's overrated or not. He is. Miguel Garcia, all-star third baseman last year. And Vinny Pasquantino he was amazing in the WBC. Hopefully he continues that into the regular season.
I want to just throw in a little side piece here for kind of a surprise team. It's the Pittsburgh Pirates. Everyone might say, oh, it's the Pirates. They're not going to be anything. They have the best pitcher in baseball with Paul Skeens.
That's 1 out of 5 games.
But their pitching staff as a whole pitched a 3.76 ERA last year, which was 7th best. They have Jared Jones coming back this year. They have Bubba Chandler, who's the 11th ranked prospect in baseball. He throws a 99-mile-an-hour fastball on his off-speed pitch. Opponents hit a .09 against him. He's great. They spent a lot on the offseason with Ryan O'Hearn, Marcell Ozuna, Brandon Lau, have Connor Griffin, the #1 prospect in baseball. He's going to be coming to the team. The Cardinals gutted their roster. The Brewers are projected to go from 97 wins to 82 wins, and the Cubs are only the favorite with an 86 win projection total. So this could kind of be a run we saw from the 24 Royals where they had that 30-game jump. And the last fact that I really like about this Pirates team, they brought in a lot more offensive weapons. They have that pitching staff.
If I'm not mistaken, they added their first multi-year contract
Ryan
in like
O'Hearn.
a decade.
It was since 2016. It's their first multi-year contract with Ryan O'Hearn. But the crazy stat is they lost 35 games last year by 1 run. That's it. That's going to be a big turnaround since they have these new offensive pieces, since they have these pitching pieces. I think the Pirates are a sleeper team in the wild card and maybe even to win the division.
I mean, baseball is a game of inches. So when you have a game that's decided by 1 run that many times, if you can't win those games, it means you're pretty bad. If you can win half of those, that just means you're average. Turn them in your favor. That's when you go to the playoffs.
Exactly. And I think they could do it this year.
I mean, you mentioned their pitching. I think the team with the best pitching staff, starting pitchers, hands down the Yankees. I from top to bottom, if you're getting Cy Young Garrett Cole, Cy Young caliber Max Fried, and then all-star Carlos Rodon, Cam Slittler was amazing last year, and then there you have Will Warren, Luis Gil, Clark Schmidt. If you listen to the broadcast today, CC Sabathia said that the Yankees had at least 3 players not in the starting rotation at the moment coming back from injuries who could have been the starter today.
So I got to ask you, how do you think the start of the year will go for them? Just because they're on a 4-man rotation, they have Luis Gil in AAA. It's kind of a little, in my opinion, as a Yankees fan, it's a little concerning. I think they're going to start the year very slow, but like you said, once Cole comes back, they'll get the pieces rolling.
It is, but at the same time, they're only going with the 4-man because of how the schedule works. They have the day off tomorrow, and they play. What is it, 3-game series? So it's Friday, Saturday, and then no game, or maybe they have the day off Saturday and then the game Sunday, and then it's a travel day.
Yeah.
So it's literally just a first week thing, and I expect Gil to get called back up.
Yeah.
He won the Rookie of the Year for a reason, and I thought he pitched really well last year outside of walking a lot of batters, even when he came back from injury. I don't get why he's in the minor leagues. I also don't get why Dominguez and Spencer Jones are in the minor leagues as well. That's more of a front office / Aaron Boone thing going on there. But I do think that the offense is good enough to keep them afloat, especially if Ben Rice takes that next step.
I have to agree with that. I think the only reason Gil is in AAA right now is because I'm pretty sure his last start he allowed like 6 or 9.
No, it was his last start that was really good.
It was the one before that.
But it was the one before that. It was
okay.
like a little shaky.
So that's the reason I think he's in there. But I think Dominguez will get called back up. I think Spencer Jones will get his shot this year, as he should. But it's just when is the big question. When is that going to come?
I mean, Dave, anything else to add?
I mean, you talked a lot about pitching. One other team that I think could be a sleeper this year is the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles are poised to break out. They have a really deep bullpen coming into the season. Trevor Rogers coming off of a 1.81 ERA season. They picked up Ryan Helsley, one of the elite closers of the MLB. Kyle Bradish, Shane Baz, also really talented. They have Gunnar Henderson at shortstop, Kobe Mayo, Pete Alonso was a great veteran addition to help out a young squad that's really evolving. If not this year, maybe next, but this is a squad that I expect to be a contender in the future.
The only downside I have for the Orioles this year is I think they're a great team. Just the AL East is so stacked. It's insane. You have the Blue Jays, you have the Yankees, you have the Red Sox, you have Caminero.
You got to throw in the Rays.
Yeah,
just because they just win. They find ways to win.
You have Caminero, you have Diaz. The Rays do have great pieces. So that's my only concern with the Orioles, but I do think if they could get the ball rolling early, they'll be pretty good as well.
Well, I definitely think it's safe to say that there's madness in baseball, but the madness that goes on in March is March Madness. Right now, the Sweet 16 starts tomorrow, but one thing that I've seen complaining from a lot of fans is the lack of Cinderella teams, and technically the only underdogs still left in the tournament. 11 seed Texas, which is an SEC school, and number 9 Iowa just beat Florida. Dave, what are your thoughts?
I mean, Texas, the only team remaining from the play-in. Really strong team this year, underperformed during the regular season, but even calling them a Cinderella is a little tough for me, just as such a big school in terms of NIL money, obviously an SEC school. Then Iowa, a great performance to knock off Florida, but Florida is the only 1 seed out of this tournament right now. Every 2 seed still remains. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of upsets, and it just seems like the best teams keep getting better.
And we saw High Point's coach make the comment about the bigger schools not playing mid-major teams. Siena playing Duke really well, almost had a chance to beat them. And now Jerry McNamara's at Syracuse, who won that job after the first half of the game. JJ, how do you think the NCAA addresses the lack of mid-major representation in the tournament now?
I don't think there really is much they can do. I don't think they really have to do too much. Yes, this is the first time in history that 2 years in a row there hasn't been a 12 seed in the Sweet 16, which is kind of problematic. But when you actually look at some of these...
High Point was like a point, what was it, a point away?
Yes, so that's the thing I'm getting at. Yes, there aren't any Cinderellas left, but the games that were played, Cal Baptist almost beat Kansas, Siena came so close to beating Duke. They only played 5 players. South Florida almost beat Louisville. Furman hung up with UConn up until the end of the game. Iowa beat Florida. VCU beat UNC. High Point beat Wisconsin and almost beat Arkansas. Texas is in the Sweet 16, obviously not a full Cinderella.
They're an SEC school, come on.
Yes, and Santa Clara took down Kentucky. Almost took down Kentucky. So my stance on this is that I don't think there's much that they have to change. I think the teams are there. I think the mid-majors can win these games. It's just a matter that it's been 2 down years and people are overreacting now because of NIL. I think all of this will come back. You had a player like Gavin Doty who almost led Siena to beat Duke as a 16 seed. This isn't going to go away. March Madness isn't going to go away. If this happens 2 more years in a row, that's when I'm going to have real concern and say, okay, this NIL has to tone down. But other than that, I don't think there's anything
Well, the thing
they can do.
NIL brings to the table that wasn't there before is mid-majors fed off of under-recruited players, and yes, some of those players would transfer, but now when, for example, Marist with Josh Pasquarelli getting close to $500,000 a year from Colorado State, albeit they're a high mid-major team, but then Justin Menard just entered the portal. Very possible that Gavin Doty is going to go with Jerry McNamara to Syracuse.
I believe he already did.
No, he just entered the portal.
Okay.
Which is probably where he's going to go. And he's definitely going to get a nice payday. It's not just basketball that is happening too. We had a conversation with Joe Asanio how even softball is going to see that trend where they're not going to be able to get those diamonds in the roughs anymore.
The only kind of rebuttal I have against that is, I know it's super niche, but you look at a team like the Penn Quakers. They had a guy, TJ Power. He was a former 5-star recruit to Duke, didn't play at Duke, then went on to transfer. I don't remember exactly what school. I'm pretty sure it was Virginia. Went on to transfer to Virginia, didn't get a lot of playing time there. Went to Penn. He's averaging 18 points a game. So you're going to still have stuff like that where these players will commit to these higher schools to get that money, and then they won't play and they'll be like, I actually want to get playing time, and they'll go down to these small schools because they're going to be they'll already have money in the pocket. So I think these mid-majors will keep up, but at the same time, if this happens again next year where there's no Cinderellas in March Madness, they're going to start losing viewership, and it's just all going to go down the drain.
Well, that's all pish-posh at this point because the Sweet 16 is starting tomorrow. And let's throw up the graphic real quick. We got Duke versus St. John's, Michigan State, UConn, Iowa, Nebraska, Illinois, Houston. On the left side, right side, Arizona, Arkansas, Texas, Purdue, Michigan, Alabama, Tennessee, Iowa State. Dave, you mentioned earlier, 7 of the 8 top 2 seeds are still in the tournament. JJ, I know the East region is a big topic for you with number 1 overall Duke, Rick Pitino, and St. John's, Tom Izzo, Michigan State, and of course, the team with the most championships in the 64-game format, the UConn Huskies. What do you make of the madness that's going to be coming out of this weekend?
This might be one of the greatest regions I've ever seen. This was just amazing.
Sometimes to a fault.
They had Bill Self in it earlier with Kansas. They got taken out by St. John's. But this St. John's Duke game, this is the first time St. John's has been back to the Sweet 16 since 1999. If people really think Rick Pitino is going to lose to a team of freshmen, it's not happening. As Gus Johnson would say, zooby-dooby-doo. He's going to lead them to the Elite 8. And the team I have on the other side, it's UConn versus Tom Izzo. What a great coaching matchup this is. You got the flying car, Cohen Carr for the Michigan State Spartans. But these UConn Huskies, the last 4 times dating back to 2011, the UConn Huskies made the Sweet 16. You know what they did? They won the national championship.
With Kemba.
I don't know if they're going to do that this year, but I do think they will win this game, and we will get the 4th rematch of the big-time Big East clash of St. John's and UConn, and I think it's just going to be amazing. This East region, it gets me fired up every time I look at it.
Yeah, I think the East very strong, but personally, although I had Duke coming into this tournament, I don't like what I've seen from them. Obviously, the Siena game, not a great look, especially against 5 players. And
the game against TCU, it was close, and then they just went on a run at the end.
Yeah, and Cameron Bouger, previous number 1 pick, potentially, has not played as well as people were expecting him coming into this tournament. Right now, I don't see Duke winning this. I actually think it'll be a team from the West. I'm looking at Arizona. Really fast-paced team. They finished the regular season number 2. Braden Burry's had reaching 16 points per game. Toby Awaka, 9.3 rebounds per game. 5 players averaging over 10. Great shooting, great rebounding, and just strong on defense and good away, which is really helping them in this tournament.
I gotta go against that really quick. Let me just read off these numbers for you. 31, 49, 20, 22, 17, 28, 37, 24, 30, 24, 36. Something Arizona doesn't have is a guy averaging 30 points over his last 12 games. It's Darius Akuff, the greatest guard that John Calipari has ever coached. Arkansas is getting the upset. They're taking down Arizona. This is the best Arkansas team we've seen in a while. Darius Akuff might be one of the best guards we've seen in the last decade.
Great Stephen A. impression, by the way.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I was pulling that one out of his book. He's averaging 40.
You should have said 30. He's averaging 30.
I felt like it.
Anyways, but Arizona was the #1 team for a majority of the year. And of course, it would be really funny if Bryce James gets one of these. That's a little ring.
Yep.
I've seen a lot of Michigan, but Alabama, I think they've been riding really hot recently. But going into the tournament, I had the Huskies. Mainly, it's a biased take, personally, because, that's all we have in Connecticut.
Yeah, that's true.
But if Terrace Reed can play close to how he did against Furman, and Alex Caravan shows up the way that he did against UCLA, I definitely think they're going to win that region. And it would be really cool if we have a 3 out of 4 time champion in the NCAA. And then on the women's side of things, I don't see how any other team other than UConn is going to win.
No one else is touching the Huskies.
The difference last year was that UConn had Sarah Strong, and that's also the difference this year.
They call it the basketball capital of the world for a reason, because they are.
Yep. And even though we're a week away from the March Madness Championship, both men's and women's, we are 2.5 weeks away from the NBA playoffs. Thunder on a 12-game win streak, who are playing the Boston Celtics right now and losing to the Celtics right now, which sucks for Knicks fans because Celtics are a half game up. But the Knicks, Spurs, Hawks, Hornets, Lakers, and the Celtics getting Tatum back. Right now, the previous 4 teams I just mentioned all playing really hot. JJ, who do you think are the legit contenders going into these playoffs?
I really want to say the Knicks right now. They're on a 7-game win streak. Brunson's been playing great. I don't know if I could go with them right now, though. It's just they're too streaky. That's the problem with them. They win the games, they lose games. They play in really close games against the bottom feeder teams. The team I really do like is the San Antonio Spurs. I know there's the injury concerns with Wemby, but he's averaging 24 points, 11 rebounds, and I'm pretty sure 3 blocks so far this year. They're 54 and 18. Obviously, it's going to be hard to touch the Oklahoma City Thunder because of how good SGA has been, how good the Thunder have been even without SGA. I do really like the Spurs this year, though, but if I had to pick anyone, it's going to be the Thunder. The Thunder are just so dominant. It seems like their whole team is just, there's no flaws in it, and I really like the Thunder this year.
Yeah, the Thunder very dominant. I think if anybody has a chance in the East, I would say it's the Pistons. They're at #1 right now, having a great season. They'll have to compete with the Celtics down the stretch. They play really physical, but they play smart. They don't take a lot of bad fouls, which is, I believe, the key to beating this Thunder team against SGA. Lead the league in steals, 2nd in overall defensive rating. Cade Cunningham averaging almost 25 points per game. And they're 26 and 13, very strong against teams with a winning record. 117 points per game as well. They can definitely put up the numbers, and I think they have the defense to back it up.
I'm gonna be the guy that says the Knicks are legit. That doesn't mean I have them at the top of my list. Definitely think the Thunder, and I definitely think, honestly, I think the Thunder are just the runaway favorites. But to my point about the Knicks, they are one of 3 teams that are top 5 in both offense and defense, the other 2 being the Celtics and the Spurs. The Knicks have a winning record against the Spurs this year, and the one loss came in a game where Julian Champagnie hit 11 threes. They are 2-1 against Boston. Granted, those 3 games came before Tatum's return. They're 2-0 against Denver, who I think is just, their defense is not good enough to win. 1-1 against the Lakers, who are the hottest team in the league right now. The only team that they haven't really beat was the Pistons. And that's because they're able to play a brand of basketball that the Knicks aren't exactly allowed to play, in my opinion. I think the Pistons, and specifically the Thunder, get away with a lot more physicality, which is why they are big threats to win it all.
I have to agree. I mean, even watching some Knick games, you could see the physicality against Cat especially. Cat will take these huge hits and they never call fouls, while it seems like OKC, they just get every call in a sense, and that's kind of a thing that I think might affect them a little bit. The one thing I will say to your point about the Knicks beating all those teams in the regular season, we saw it last year. That doesn't matter too much. They lost to the Celtics the whole regular season.
Less about them winning, more about them competing with them.
That's true.
Because when they played Boston last year, every single game just got a little bit closer, a little bit closer. The games against the Pistons last year were a little weird. I mean, I know the Timberwolves had a losing record against the Lakers, and they won. I believe the Pacers had a losing record against the Knicks, and then they won. Knicks had a losing record against Pistons and Celtics, and they won. The Warriors had a losing record against the Rockets, and they won. So it's kind of an arbitrary thing at this point what teams do against the other good teams in the regular season. But I think what is consistent is if they play well against the good teams, which the Knicks have, there's a chance.
They can compete with anyone.
They can, but I see it as a little inconsistent because we're talking about a team that has the second worst defense in the league since the NBA Cup. They have not been good down the stretch, the Knicks.
They've had the best defense in the NBA for the last 2 months.
Yeah, but still, it's so inconsistent down the stretch. They're on and then they're off, and then they're on and then they're off. I think they're on right now, but who's to say that they keep it going during the playoffs?
I think just by the fact that the Knicks have made a surprise run every single year, Jalen Brunson has been a Knick, and that they always play their best, and at least he has played his best in the postseason.
I gotta agree with that one. There's a chance the Knicks could just run to the finals this year. There's a chance they don't make it past the semis. So anything could happen, but that's the NBA for you in a nutshell. So.
Well, what is in a nutshell is MVP, which we are going to be talking about in just a little bit on Prove Your Point. Let's head to it. Two contestants, two freshmen. Very excited to have both of them on. Our first contestant, 5'10", from Oxford, Connecticut. And like Anthony Volpe, trash on the field, and Torres Labrum, JJ Garcia.
How's it going?
It's going well.
Yeah.
You?
It's good.
Excited for opening day.
Yeah.
Yankees leading 7-0 after 6.
Not excited about Judge 4 strikeouts though. I could tell you that much.
They have 7 runs. Who cares?
It doesn't matter. It's Aaron Judge has 4 strikeouts, not 7 strikeouts. That would have been really bad. 4 strikeouts.
I wonder if there's ever been a 7 strikeout game. You can look that up for me.
All right, I got you.
Second contestant, another freshman, 5'6", from Wallkill, New York. Isiah Perez, aka Ice Spice.
Only you can stand my mind.
Locked in?
Only you can.
You want to give a quick story as to why you got called Ice Spice in high school? Whose brother did commit at Marist, but then
decommitted. I really wanted to meet Ice Spice. That would have been a great picture. But yeah, I mean, it's just the hair. Really was just the hair, and it just started a trend, and it's just called Ice Spice. It's just a trend.
Well, I don't.
No one has 7 strikeouts in a game. It's only 6. 8 players.
Okay. Well, maybe someday that will be made 7, but I think it's time, right? You ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Ready as can be.
NBA season is coming to a close, which means NBA awards are going to be announced pretty soon. No award bigger than the MVP.
Of course.
Isiah, who's winning the MVP?
Luka Doncic is winning the MVP.
Ooh.
I mean, the Lakers are the 3rd seed, but we're not even going to talk about that. Luka is averaging 33, 8 and 8. You could say, you know, he's a bad defensive player. You know, a lot of technical fouls this year. But this guy, over the past 5 games, has been on fire. I mean, the Lakers have just been on fire. I mean, Luka's averaging 46 and 6 in the last 5 games. And now people say he's not the greatest defender. He's a cone. He's a cone. But, you know, he's top 10 in steals, top 7 in charge drawn. He's 95 percentile in shots contested. I mean, 87 percentile in rim contests. 0.844 PP allowed in isolation. He's not that bad a defender as people talk about him. He's not a cone. I mean, James Harden won the MVP, and he was just known for his steals. I mean, he was a cone too. He's not a cone like people talk about. I know he's just that elite offensively. You just got to give him the MVP.
Before I let JJ hop in, game against the Pacers just ended. 43-6-7. Lakers won 137 to 130. JJ, the floor is yours.
All right, so we're just gonna ignore the fact that he just said all of that stats because those don't matter.
It was against the Pacers.
I'm not even gonna talk about the defense. Obviously, my MVP is SGA. He's minus 900 on odds right now. That's just one fact. I'm not even gonna talk about Luka Doncic's defense right now. I'm gonna talk about his offense really quick. He leads the NBA in turnovers with 239 turnovers. That's 4 turnovers per game. That's first in the NBA. You know what SGA is? 2.1 turnovers per game. SGA provides elite scoring, but also limits the mistakes in half. Not only that, Luka is currently operating at the highest usage percentage in the NBA at 38%. While his volume is historic, his stats are so inflated. SGA currently ranks 16th highest player in efficiency rating PER in NBA history for a single season, shooting 55% from the field. Luka's PER is around 103 all time. That suggests that while he does more, he doesn't necessarily do more than SGA on every possession. So it's not only the defense, it's also those stats. You're not talking just yet. Stop.
No.
Also, the defensive divide. SGA is widely considered as a top-tier defensive guard, contributing slightly to the Thunder's elite defense. He nearly averages Stop. He averages nearly 2 steals per game and a block per game.
The Thunder get allowed a lot of fouls. I mean, a lot of fouls. I mean, I'm a New York Knicks fan. I watched that New York Knicks game, maybe 80 billion missed calls because the Thunder could just get to play 90s ball and no one gets to play 90s ball except the Thunder and the Pistons. I mean, SGA, yes, he's an elite defender. Yes, he's an elite defender, but he gets away with a lot of fouls. And I get it. Luka has the most usage rate, maybe because he's the most valuable to the team. I mean, where would the Lakers be without Luka Doncic right now? I think they'd be. I mean, LeBron James. I mean, he's not the same as he used to be.
Please just stop.
No, I'm sorry. He's not the same as he used to be. The Lakers would be in the lottery right now without Luka Doncic.
SGA is shooting 55% from the field,
I don't care.
38% from 3, 88% from the free throw line. His true shooting numbers, 67%. Luka, 61. Efficiency field goal percentage, he's at 59%. Not only that, the usage percentage, SGA is at 31. Luka is at 37. That's insane. Win shares, 13.8 for SGA. You know what Luka's at? He's at 11. It's just insane to wrap your head around. No, not yet.
What you're bringing up, a lot of blah, 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 blah. If you do the eye test and the stats.
That's not what the NBA is. It's not an eye test. That's not what the MVP is. You have to look at everything. The defensive rating estimates for how many points are allowed per 100 possessions. SGA is at 108. You know what? Luka's at 115. That's 3 above the league average. Luka is one of the worst defenders in the NBA. You can't give an MVP to one of the worst defenders of all time.
Yes, you can, because
you know what? This seems like a classic case of a guy who puts up a lot of stats on a team that's not great, and a guy on a winning team, and usually the NBA voters go in favor of the guy on the winning team. With that being said,
doesn't make sense.
The losing teams try to get the first overall pick. And March Madness is showing AJ DeBanza, Darren Peterson, Cameron Boozer, all great prospects, potentially turning around a team like the Washington Wizards or the Brooklyn Nets, or being added to a potential contender in the Indiana Pacers.
Or an expansion team.
Yeah.
That is that's also
Seattle
a true thing.
Supersonics.
But JJ, who do you think is going to be first overall pick?
I really do like Dabansa from BYU a lot, but I'm going to go with Darren Peterson from Kansas. He is one of the best shot creators in college we have seen in a long time. His contested pull-up jumpers, one of the best. And I'm going to go back to high school just once.
Oh, God.
61
High school
points
doesn't even matter.
against Utah Prep, which was AJ Dabansa's team. That's pretty crazy. Just
Doesn't matter.
had
High
to
school.
mention that.
It's
But
just
something
high
that
school.
NBA scouts really like is a player's kind of progression already. Something that Peterson is really great at is the pick and roll. He's a great navigator on the pick and roll. Scouts have noticed that he has a very high processing ability and makes the right read almost 90% of the times. That's something that Dabansa doesn't have. Dabansa is kind of just a shot creator. He likes to get off the drive. Peterson can do everything from all levels. He's a three-point scorer. He's a mid-range scorer.
Yeah.
He can finish at the rim. He's so good at shot creating.
Yeah.
That is the reason he will be the #1 overall pick. It's just because the way he plays is so much more elevated than AJ Dabansa's, and his game will translate more to the NBA.
Here's the thing, AJ Dabansa. AJ, he is first in scoring. I mean, he's averaging 25 and 5. This guy, he's averaging 6.8 rebounds. He's shooting 51% from the field. Yes, he's not a three-point shooter, but this guy is the biggest freak athletically you could think of. I mean, he reminds me of T-Mac. He reminds me of prime T-Mac coming out of college. I mean, I know T-Mac went to high school, but he has, yes, inconsistent defense, but he has elite potential. He has a very elite potential, and he has a huge frame. He's 6'9", 7'1" wingspan. I mean, this guy can score wherever you want to. I mean, Peterson had a questionable time in Kansas. There was some controversy there with the I don't know what injuries he had, the load management. I don't know what the heck happened in Kansas. All I know is AJ Dabansa is a baller. BYU comes into BYU, averages 25 as a true freshman. This guy is just a freak of nature.
His numbers are kind of elevated though, because at the start of the year, Richie Saunders, probably their best scorer on the team, he tore his ACL about 3 games in. That means AJ Dabansa had to take on that role, so he got a lot more scoring opportunities. That's kind of something that you got to look at. While on the other hand, Peterson was kind of in that role where he was the man. He was also had other players behind him picking up that role. Peterson averaged 1.8 points per possession, especially on the catch and shoot. Dabansa's at 0.86. That's a huge thing for NBA scouts. They love to see that. And the reason you brought up the injury concern was because he missed a lot of games for injury problems. He was battling an injury all year. He could have sat out for 70-80% of those games and just said, oh, I want to keep my draft stock up. You know what he didn't do? He kept playing in those games. That's the dog mentality that these NBA scouts are looking for. Someone who will play through injury, trying to take their team to March Madness.
Hey, do you want to know what NBA scouts? Sorry, I have to interject here. A 6'9" do-it-all forward and Cameron Boozer. I think he should be the first overall pick.
I don't think so.
Hey, but let's stick with the draft because you know what? You know what we have coming up in 4 weeks?
The mock draft.
Mock draft. And it's pretty much consensus that Fernando Mendoza is going to be the first overall pick. That doesn't mean that's going to happen with our mock draft, so you better tune in and watch out to see who's going to be the first overall pick.
Oh, jeez.
But for a lot of people, Fernando Mendoza locked in as the first overall pick. But it's always up for debate whether or not quarterbacks from college can actually translate to the pros. So Isiah, is he going to live up to the hype?
Mendoza, he's the clear #1 overall pick in this draft, but I think this class has maybe the worst QB class in recent memory. I mean, you got guys like Ty Simpson, Carson Beck. I mean, Carson Beck's just horrible. I mean, you got Drew Allar, he's gonna get, I don't even know if he's gonna get drafted, but he's a part of this class. I mean, yes, he is the #1 pick, but to me, Mendoza's just a bona fide Kirk Cousins. If you really think about it, he relies too much on RPOs. Yes, he's an accurate passer, not that great of an arm. I mean, you got guys like Joe Burrow that came before him, Jaden Daniels, Bryce Young. These guys were highly talented. There's no wow factor when I look at Mendoza. There's none at all. Yes, he's a great passer. He has pinpoint accuracy. He has great decision making. Yeah. You know what that shows me? You know what that tells me? Kirk Cousins. I mean, if you explain that to me right now, I'd be like, wow, that's Kirk Cousins. That's Kirk Cousins right there. So is Kirk Cousins, would you draft Kirk Cousins in his prime at #1 overall? No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
Did Kirk Cousins win a national championship with Indiana? You just said that Fernando Mendoza doesn't have a wow factor. Fernando Mendoza is 6'5", 225 pounds. He had the passer rating of 182.9, a 72% completion rating. You know his deep ball accuracy, 60%. Fernando Mendoza is the wow. Fernando Mendoza is going to be the face of the NFL. The Raiders built around him.
Highest number of sack rate. Highest number of sack rate. You know, he only relies on
That's
RPO.
not his fault. That's the offensive line's fault.
That Indiana team was stacked. I don't like. They're a bunch of 25-year-olds. It was absolutely stacked. You had a stacked running back, great wide receiver, great everything. Holds the ball too long. He's too reliant on RPOs. Do you watch Indiana? Do you watch Mendoza?
Yes.
I don't think you do. I personally
do.
And then
Obviously,
he's going into a situation. The Raiders, I get it, they added Tyler Linderbaum or they added great offensive linemen, but that line was historically terrible. I get they have the weapons, but he's just gonna die back there. He's gonna die back there on that line.
Listen, you just said sack numbers is Fernando Mendoza's fault, and then you just said he's gonna crumble behind that offensive line. I don't think you realize if he was getting sacked that many times, that's the offensive line's fault, which means he's gonna come to the NFL. He's prepared for that. You want to know something?
Faster.
Even with
Gotta
those
get out faster.
quick release. All of his balls got out in under 2.5 seconds. That's his average throw time. Do you know how quick that is?
It is?
That's
But it's
78% of passes. That doesn't matter. He's still getting those passes out very quickly.
Two total snaps under center. 2 total snaps.
That doesn't matter. His quick release, that is just a super flawed metric that you just used because he gets the ball out in 2.5 seconds. That is insane. He threw for 41 touchdowns and 6 interceptions last year. Yeah. That is numbers that these NFL scouts are drooling over.
Years ever, by the
well,
way.
You know what? He has one of these called a ring.
And Kirk Cousins doesn't have one of those. I don't know where Kirk Cousins got pulled out of.
He is married, but
that's true.
You know, players don't play to get married.
You like that? I'm sorry, I had to.
Players don't play to get married. They play to win rings, Super Bowl rings specifically. So, live studio audience, they vote on every show, and the results should be coming in soon. JJ, still a freshman, but he's at the point where he's a vet. Isiah, newcomer. Let's find out who won.
I really hope this is the way it should be. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's clear victory for me. I feel like this is clear.
You said Kirk Cousins and Fernando Mendoza are player comps.
Basically the exact same. Same.
Well, I think Fernando Mendoza is going to suck if he's in with Vegas.
Exactly.
But I think what is going to be a very big shock in turn of events for JJ Garcia, because he lost. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The people know that I am right.
Sorry, this isn't voter fraud. You lost.
They know that Fernando Mendoza is not that good.
Okay, I got it. Copy.
You lost. You didn't win the people
they
over.
Know Fernando Mendoza is Kirk Cousins.
Do you love democracy?
I love democracy.
I love democracy
I love
too.
Democracy. I love
Democracy never fails.
I love it.
Isiah's the winner. JJ's the loser.
They know it.
We're going to cut to break. We'll be back in just a bit. And we back. I know Isiah, JJ, there's some clashing feelings. Game update. Yankees still leading the Giants 7-0 in the top of the 8th. That being said, we're going to keep it NBA. We're going to do a Pirtle.
Let's do it. We should get this within 3 at least.
Yeah, easily.
All right, JJ, you wanted to have the first guess.
Sadiq Bey from the Pelicans, Nova alum. Gotta go with Sadiq Bey.
SADD. Yep,
Yeah,
there we go.
There you go. Ooh, okay, west, southwest. Okay.
Southwest.
He's young.
Okay, young. Okay, so southwest we got. What is it?
Pelicans,
Dallas,
Grizzlies,
Keldon
and then
Johnson.
the 3 Texas teams.
Yeah.
Keldon Johnson.
Well, how old is he? No, Keldon Johnson's way older than that.
Wait, hold on.
Keldon Johnson's similar age.
Stephon Castle.
I like the Castle shout.
Castle. We can do
Yeah,
Castle.
I like the Castle shout.
Stephon.
There you go.
Top one.
Yep. Okay. He's a guard.
Southwest
Okay.
guard.
Maybe. Wait. Maybe.
I know. I'm
He's
like
a little older than 21.
So
His number's super low.
Okay.
22,
Why am I
not
thinking
New Orleans.
Dallas? Is there anyone Dallas?
No.
No,
It's a
no.
guard. Guard.
Dallas or Houston? What? Reed Shepard.
No.
No. Oh, maybe.
Reed Shepard.
Reed Shepard's 15. His number's
Yeah, he
15.
is.
I just thought I got it.
What teams are Southwest?
It's got
Memphis? Who's on Memphis?
Ooh, Memphis.
Cedric something. Cowser. Is it Cedric Cowser?
Oh yeah.
Type in
Yeah.
Cedric with a C.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what else.
Yeah.
Cedric
I
Coward.
think that's it. Come on. Okay, now Memphis.
So it's not Memphis. So it's either Houston or Dallas.
It's
JJ just got bombed.
Oh,
Sorry for the technical difficulties.
I just got a real close
sorry
up
for
in
the
my face.
technical
I'm sorry
difficulties.
that you have to see that.
Sorry for the
Yeah.
technical difficulties, everyone. We'll have it back in just a moment. We
there we
are
go.
blind.
Yeah.
So it's either a Dallas or Houston player. Number is less than 4. Or wait, does that? Number is less than 5.
oh gosh.
He's like 23.
23 years old.
What do we think about? Is
Uh,
Amen a guard?
Ahmed's a guard, but he's too
Yeah.
big.
He's too big. What is it? 6'5"?
6'5". Reed Shepard's too small.
Is it? How tall is Amen?
Ryan
He's
Nemhard
6'7"?
from
Oh
Dallas.
yeah. See, I was thinking Dallas too. That's it.
Nemhard.
There you go. Dallas?
So
Okay.
it is a Dallas player. I did not
5'11".
realize he was that short.
Oh my gosh.
So he's 6'5". Jeff Hardy's not there anymore, right?
No, Cooper Flagg's the point guard.
Yeah,
but
but
he's not
he's not
6'5".
6'5". He's 6'9".
That's my fault.
Who's there? Who's? Oh, I don't watch Dallas.
It's not Kyrie.
No, it's not Kyrie.
It's not AD, obviously.
Is it Max Christie?
It's Max
Yeah,
Christie.
it might be.
Is
He's
Max Christie
23.
6'5"?
Max Christie.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
Bang!
Look at that.
Let me have it.
Shout.
Let me have it. Let me have it.
That was yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot he was on the Mavs now.
Luka trade. Luka
Yep.
trade.
Yeah,
Luka
Luka trade.
I knew he was 23. I just forgot about that.
Yeah, pretty.
Huh, that was a good pull.
Pretty terrible trade.
Good pull.
Ball nowhere. Nick knows ball. Plug in the other guy's account. But for JJ, for Isiah, Dave in the back, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Halftime on the Hudson. Just 4 weeks away from the mock draft. Stay tuned.